Yes, well, it's a new week dawning. I was thinking the other day, what happened to the streets? Did he kind of go upmarket and become the avenues? Fanar? Anyway, yesterday I was perusing me interwebs and came across a tweet by everyone's favourite ex-Sun editor, Kelvin Kenzie, and who was telling it like it is in his own particularly badly spelt way. But anyway, I thought it's worthwhile sort of digging our way down into this particular rabbit hole. Let's just see what he has to say. In a shocking poll result, only 1 in 4 of the nation's UK Muslims, the nation's ones, believe Hamas committed murder and rape on October the 7th. The Daily Telegraph poll comes on the 6-month anniversary of the slaughter of 1,200 Israelis and the taking of 257 hostages. The survey also found 52% of Muslims want to make it illegal to show a picture of the Prophet Muhammad, compared to 16% of the public. 32% of the public want to see Sharia law implemented versus 9% of the public. He means the Muslims there. Right. Younger and more well-educated Muslims were the most likely to think Hamas did not commit atrocities. How shocking is that? They're not even thickos. We'll come back to thickos. The poll was conducted by JL Partners, founded by a number 10 pollster for the anti-extremist think tank Henry Jackson Society. Yeah, we'll come back to them as well. 46% of Muslims say Jews have too much power in the UK policy. 41% say they have too much power over the media. 49% too much power over the financial system. So now we know, have to guess at what Muslims are really thinking. Yeah, indeed, it's there in black and white. Since Muslims predominantly vote Labour, how long before Starmer bends at the knee to the Islamic thought process? After all, he has bent the knees in public before. Yes, he's bent the knees. Yes, anyway, this was a piece which was trumpeted in the Sunday Telegraph. Just 1 in 4. Ooh, headline figures. Awful. And obviously it got picked up by the Jewish Chronicle. But, yes, I thought, well, wouldn't it be useful if somebody could, have a look at the actual data? So somebody did. Yeah, it was me, wasn't it? Yeah. So, went to the Henry Jackson Society, and there isn't anything on their website, which is a bit strange, isn't it? You would have thought, you'll get that Daily Telegraph, huge piece of research, very important, let everyone know. It's not on their website. Just nothing there. So anyway, of course, went to JPL and had a look at their actual data. Link down below so you can have a look at that for yourself. There's quite a lot going on there, actually. They polled 1,000 Muslims in the UK. Not quite sure how they got a hold of them. Online survey stuff, not really sure. And they did about 1,700 generic members of the UK public, asking them the same questions. And if you do a little bit of digging, it becomes quite intriguing, which was what made me think maybe that Henry Jackson Society don't want people to look at some of the things. So I thought, obviously, I'd show them to you because I love doing that. Anyway, moving on, yeah. This one in particular intrigued me because when you ask the representative-ish sample of the UK population. About 58% of the people here identified as Christian. I think that has more to do with the way the question was. About 1% of them were Jewish. So Arab citizens of Israel are treated differently to Jewish ones, says 43% of the UK population. And in terms of genocide, Israel is committing genocide on Palestinians, 46%. So there you have that particular figure, don't you? Yes, that maybe the Henry Jackson Society, for reasons best known to themselves, don't want that particular one to come out, because after all, we are told by a variety of organisations that will often invite the Henry Jackson Society member, singular, usually on, about how Israel definitely isn't committing genocide and it's all lies made up by them, they're Muslims. Now, in terms of extremism, this again caught my eye. People are worried about extremism, be it Muslim, be it Islamist, be it far right as well, in roughly equal numbers, yeah? People are concerned about Islamism, and they're also concerned about fascism, if you like, yeah? these things are important because we can't just separate them out if they're inconvenient to a particular GB News narrative. Yes. Going on to the actual sort of Muslim questions. You would kind of expect that if you were to ask a reasonably representative sample of people who are more likely to be religious, that they will come out with answers which are more religious. So one wouldn't be necessarily shocked at some of this stuff. However, there are some very interesting nuggets in there. For example, do you feel the implementation of the following in the UK in the next 20 years would be desirable? Outlawing homosexuality. And you find a reasonable split there between it, right? This isn't the rabid anti-LGB stuff that we are led to believe. The majority of Muslims do want to see an outlawing of gay marriage, but it's very undecided on notions of outlawing homosexuality, because after all, they live here. Think about very undesirable is 18%, somewhat undesirable 10%. So you end up with at least 1 in 4 Muslims, that number again, who aren't really particularly bothered, if you like. Yeah. Also, majority of Muslims, a little odd little one, want to see more Christianity taught in British schools. Not really the sort of thing the Daily Telegraph is going to report. With the actual question that was asked, and I have problems with this, okay? For each of the following pairs of statements, choose which statement comes closest to your view. So, Hamas committed murder and rape in Israel on 7th of October is 24%. Overall, did not is 39%, and don't know is 38%, which is where Kelvin was jumping up and down about things. But where this gets to be a fun thing to do is you look at the generic British population. So you end up with 62%, 8%, so 62% yes, 8% not. But your don't knows are actually 30%, quite high amongst women. So would a headline figure be that 1 in 4 women are unsure about murder and rape actually being committed on October the 7th? Not really the headline, perhaps, that the Henry Jackson Society, or indeed GB News, or indeed Kelvin want. You see, like anything else, you can cherry pick the figures you want. But I think it's important that people actually have a look. As I say, do have a look. The numbers are down below. Please do have a look at that. It looks reasonably well rated. There are a variety of questions that don't really come across because people were given various options on them. But that's your headline. Now, to me, I would be intrigued to see a representative sample of 1,000 overtly Jewish people in the UK and see what they have to say, because I'm willing to bet that you'll come out with some very shock findings there. But that wasn't the nature of the exercise. The nature of the exercise was to get Kelvin Mackenzie jumping up and down and a piece in the Telegraph. Yes, it's odd that the Henry Jackson Society don't particularly want to own this one. But there again, the Henry Jackson Society portray themselves as an anti-extremist organisation, and yet seem to very often have a decidedly Islamophobic agenda, which has got them in trouble in the past. Anyway, do have a look at the data. These things I think are always fascinating. I don't think there's that much difference necessarily, particularly between the average Muslim person in the UK. If you look at the voting intentions and what people find important, it's cost of living and it ain't immigration. Sorry, Rishi. Yeah, it's worthwhile just sort of digging into this stuff. Anyway, do let me know, see what you think. I don't want to be an apologist for anyone other than my own ineptitude. Do have a lovely Monday if you can. Enjoy the weather before it rains again. Anyway, do so.